What kind of woman abandons her dying husband and her heartbroken children on their final family trip? What kind of monster chooses a fleeting affair over a love story's devastating end? I was that woman. That monster, and every single night, that choice replays in my mind. The Florida sun beat down, blindingly bright, but the shadow hanging over our family was far darker. David, my husband, was battling stage 4 pancreatic cancer. They'd given him 6 to 9 months, but he clung to life for 13, fueled by one desperate wish: a final Disney trip for our kids, Ethan, 10, and Chloe, 7. He wasn't doing it for himself. He wanted them to have one last, untainted memory. No hospitals, no chemo, no sight of their dad, a ghost of his former self, 70 pounds lighter, skin jaundiced. A charity stepped in, bless them. They covered everything: resort, park tickets, the works. 5 days of magic. 5 days. For 4 months leading up to that, though, I'd been living a different, secret reality. Shamefully, I was seeing Alex, 29, from my office's sales department. He had no kids, no dying spouse, no real responsibilities. With Alex, I could pretend. I could escape. I could forget the man fading away in our spare room, too weak to climb the stairs. David had no idea. How could he? He was fighting for his life, fighting for this trip, putting on a brave face for our kids. But I saw the flinch, the raw agony in his eyes. The cancer had invaded his spine. Every step was hell, but he'd just smile. Always smiling through the pain. 2 weeks before we left, I confessed the trip details to Alex. He immediately saw an opening. "I have vacation time," he said. "I could fly down for a day. We could finally have a whole night to ourselves." The monster inside me should have recoiled. I should have said no. I should have run. Instead, I typed back, "Book a place off-site. I'll make it work." Sunday. Orlando. The air thick with false promise. David struggled at airport security. I had to get him a wheelchair. He detested it. Hated feeling gone already. But he couldn't manage the distance. Ethan kept asking why Dad needed help. Chloe started crying, convinced it meant he was dying faster. He wasn't accelerating his demise. He was just, simply, irrevocably dying. Animal Kingdom was day 1. David lasted 4 hours. The oppressive heat, the sheer exhaustion. He was constantly resting, drinking water he couldn't keep down. By 2 p.m., his lips were cracked and bleeding. We went back to the hotel. He slept for 14 hours straight, sedated by exhaustion. That night, with him asleep beside me on the sofa bed, Chloe in one bed, Ethan in another, just feet away, I listened to his ragged breaths, the raspy sound of fluid building in his lungs. And I communicated with another man, anticipating our rendezvous. I texted Alex, "Tomorrow. Send me the location. I'll be there around 10. Monday. Day 2. The day I stopped being truly human. David was so eager for Magic Kingdom. He'd spent months planning, memorizing every detail, every ride. Pirates of the Caribbean for Ethan, finding Chloe a belle dress because Beauty and the Beast was her favorite. He'd planned every detail to maximize their enjoyment, knowing, as we all knew, this was it. The last family journey before his illness confined him, before hospice, before the end. Breakfast at 8:30 a.m. David looked dire. Like a ghost. Pale, hollow eyes. He'd lost even more weight since we arrived. He could barely eat, but he forced himself. Painstakingly cut Chloe's waffle into tiny pieces, helped Ethan with syrup, asking which rides they wanted first. And under the table, I covertly checked my phone. Alex's message, room 237. Already here. Brought wine. Can't stop thinking about you. I took a mouthful of eggs. Swallowed. I glanced at David, struggling to remain upright in his seat. I looked at our children, excited and happy for the first time in months. And I declared, "I have a terrible headache. I think I need to go back to the room." David's expression shifted, a subtle crumbling. He knew. He must have known, but hoped he was wrong. "Do you want me to come? The kids can use the hotel club for a few hours." No, you all go. I'll join you after lunch. I just need to rest it off." Ethan's face fell. Chloe's small fingers reached across the table to touch my hand. She murmured, "But Mom, you'll miss the parade." "I'll catch the next one. Please, you two have fun." David, the one on the brink of death, helped me stand. He whispered, low enough for the kids not to hear, "Are you certain you're all right? You've been getting many headaches lately." "I'm fine. Just stressed. Go enjoy yourselves with the kids." He kissed my forehead. He kissed me. And I was walking away to another man. He whispered, "I love you. Thank you for doing this, for bringing us here. It means everything." I couldn't return the sentiment. I simply nodded. And I left. The rideshare to Alex's hotel took 22 minutes. My phone buzzed twice. David had messaged once, "Got the kids on Dumbo. Chloe's laughing so hard. Wish you were here." I responded, "Feel better soon. Love you all." Then I activated Do Not Disturb. Alex greeted me at the door, clad in a white t-shirt and jeans. He seemed so normal, so healthy, so vibrant. He pulled me inside, kissed me. Finally, he breathed. "I've been desperate to get you alone." Desperate? My own husband was 20 minutes away, literally dying. But I ignored it. We were intimate. It was good. It was always good with Alex. No emotional weight, no illness, no impending death, just physical sensation, pleasure, and fleeting oblivion. Afterward, he poured us wine. We lay in bed, and he spoke of office politics, his roommate's overdue rent, his contemplation of adopting a dog. Normal difficulties. God, how I longed for normal. I didn't check my phone until 1:45 p.m. Do not disturb for 3 hours. 114 missed calls. 157 text messages. 23 voicemails. All from David. All from Ethan's iPad. All from Karen, David's mother, who I hadn't even known was trying to reach me. The first message from David arrived at 11:23 a.m. "Jessica, where are you? I need you." My stomach dropped. 11:41 a.m. "I'm not feeling well. Really unwell. Kids are scared. Please call me." 12:04 p.m. I collapsed in the restroom at Cosmic Rays. Security called an ambulance. "Where are you?" 12:19 p.m. "They're taking me to Celebration Hospital. Chloe is distraught. Ethan won't stop crying. They're asking if they can contact someone else. Who do I call? Where is my wife?" 12:47 p.m. "They say my liver is failing. They're running tests. I told them my wife would be here soon. Was I mistaken?" 1:08 p.m. "I called your mother. She isn't answering. I called your sister. She says she hasn't heard from you. So, Jessica, where are you?" Then, the dagger. 1:23 p.m. A screenshot. Alex's Instagram story from an hour earlier. A picture of the hotel room service menu captioned, "Best vacation day ever." And in the reflection of the window behind the menu, barely visible but undeniably present, me. My face. My hair. My distinct tattoo on my shoulder. 1:31 p.m. Understood. Cool. I'm dying in a hospital, and you're with him. 1:44 p.m. Don't come. I mean it. Don't you dare show your face here. Then a message from Ethan's iPad at 1:52 p.m. "Mom, where are you? Dad's really sick. He's shaking and can't stop vomiting. I'm frightened. Chloe's crying. Please come." I vomited. Alex asked what was wrong. I couldn't speak. I grabbed my bag and bolted from that room so rapidly I forgot my footwear. The hospital was 19 minutes away. 19 minutes of my hands trembling so violently I couldn't dial my phone. 19 minutes of repeatedly attempting to call David, only to be sent to voicemail each time. 19 minutes of scanning message after message from my 10-year-old son, begging me to aid his dying father. "Mom, please. He needs you. Mom, he's weeping." And Dad never cries. "Mom, the doctors are using complex words I don't understand. Mom, please. Mom, Mom, Mom." I burst into the emergency room at 2:08 p.m. The receptionist directed me to the ICU, 3rd floor, room 312. David was alone when I entered. The children were absent. He was connected to IVs, an oxygen mask, monitors beeping. His eyes were shut. I believed he was asleep. Then he opened them, looked directly at me, and said in a voice so faint I barely registered it, "Get out. David. Please. Get out of this room. Where are the kids? Are they okay?" "They were with the social worker because their mother abandoned them." Do you know what Ethan said to me when the ambulance arrived? He asked, "Should I call Mom?" And I responded, "Yes." I said, "Yes, call your mother. She'll come." And do you know how many times he called you, Jessica? 47 times. 47 times my son called his mother while his father was fading away in a Disney bathroom, and you never answered once. My phone was on silent. I didn't realize. You didn't realize because you were with Alex. He uttered Alex's name as if it were a foul taste. How long, Jessica? Please. How long have you been seeing him? For months. He let out a laugh, a horrifying sound, wet and broken. For months. So, essentially, since I received my prognosis. Since the specialists told us I had less than a year. That's when you decided to begin seeking my replacement. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. Explain how you thought it was acceptable to abandon me and our children during my dying wish trip to be with a 29-year-old who uses phrases like, "best vacation day ever," while I am literally dying. I needed an escape. I needed to feel normal. Normal. He attempted to sit up, failed, and fell back. His face contorted in agony. Normal? Do you wish to know what isn't normal, Jessica? Dying at 38. Leaving your children without a father. Spending your final months in torment while your wife sleeps with someone else because she needs an escape. You don't grasp what it's been like for me. For you. His voice cracked, filled with venom. It's been difficult for you? Watching me die has been difficult for you? Try actually dying, Jessica. Try feeling your own body collapse. Try watching your children's faces each time you cannot play with them. Try comprehending you have mere weeks remaining and spending those weeks being betrayed by the one person who pledged to be there through sickness and health. I'm sorry. Sorry changes nothing. Sorry doesn't erase the fact that I collapsed in a public washroom, losing control of my body, and instead of my wife, a Disney security guard held my hand. Sorry doesn't alter the fact that Ethan had to witness that. Had to see his dad like that. Had to become the adult because his mother was pursuing intimacy in a hotel. The children now. Child Protective Services took them temporarily because when the social worker inquired if another parent could assume guardianship, I said no. I said their mother was unavailable. You didn't. I did. Because you were unavailable, Jessica. You were unavailable for your dying husband and your terrified children. So yes. CPS placed them in a temporary foster situation until my parents, Robert and Karen, could arrive. Your parents are coming. They'll be here in 3 hours. They're taking the kids back to Michigan. Taking them home, far from you. You can't do that. I can and I did. I'm dying, Jessica. I have power of attorney, medical custody, all of it. And I am using it to shield my children from you. A young man, perhaps 30, a doctor, entered then. He looked uncomfortable. He stated, "Mrs. Harrison, I need to discuss your husband's condition with both of you." "She's leaving," David said. "David, please. The doctor needs to speak to me about my failing liver and whether I will survive the week. And you don't get to be present for that conversation. You don't get to pretend you care. You don't get to hold my hand and weep and act like a mourning wife. You are not my wife anymore. You are simply the woman who once was my wife before she decided that dying husbands weren't worth remaining loyal to." "Mr. Harrison," the doctor gently interjected, "your wife should probably hear this. She should have been here 6 hours ago. She made her decision." I stood there for a long moment. David wouldn't meet my gaze. He just stared at the ceiling, jaw clenched. I walked out. I located the social worker's office on the 2nd floor. She was a kind-looking woman, perhaps 50. She informed me that Ethan and Chloe were in temporary emergency placement, safe, and would be released to David's parents upon their arrival. "May I see them?" I inquired. "Mr. Harrison has requested no contact between you and the children at this time. He cannot do that. I am their mother." She regarded me with a hint of pity. "Ma'am, your 10-year-old son called 911 from his iPad because you weren't answering your phone and his father was unconscious. Your 7-year-old daughter experienced a panic attack in the ambulance. They have endured a traumatic event, and currently, their father believes contact with you would be detrimental to their well-being. That's not fair. With all due respect, ma'am, fairness is not the issue right now. It is about what is best for these children. And at this moment, their father, who is dying, believes what is best is distance from you. I attempted to call David's parents, Robert and Karen. No answer. I tried texting. Nothing. I waited in the hospital lobby for 5 hours for their arrival. When they finally appeared, Karen saw me and her expression hardened. She walked past me as if I were invisible. Robert paused. He said, "We're taking the kids home tonight. David is being moved to hospice tomorrow. He doesn't want you there. He doesn't want you at the funeral. He doesn't want you near his children. Do you comprehend? Robert, please. Do you comprehend, Jessica?" "I comprehend." "Good. My son is dying. You don't get to worsen it." They brought the children through the lobby 30 minutes later. Ethan saw me, and his face crumpled. Chloe clung to her grandmother's hand, avoiding all eye contact. I tried to approach them. Karen stepped between us. "Don't," she said. "Don't you dare. They're my kids." She snarled, "You forfeited that right when you abandoned them." They passed by me. Chloe glanced back once. Just once. Her eyes were red from crying. She looked at me as if she no longer recognized me. I haven't seen my children in 8 months. David passed away 6 days later in hospice in Michigan. I discovered this on social media. His sister posted, "Our cherished brother earned his wings today. He fought valiantly. He loved his children more than life itself. Rest peacefully, David." I was not present at the funeral. I wasn't invited. I drove to Michigan anyway, parking across the street from the church, and observed 400 people arrive to mourn my husband. I was not among them. Alex broke up with me 4 days after David died. Not even a breakup, he simply disappeared. I messaged him, "David passed away." He read it and didn't reply. I called him. Voicemail. I called again. Blocked. I later learned through a colleague that he had reconciled with his former girlfriend 2 days after our Disney trip. Apparently, he had been trying to mend things with her the entire time he was involved with me. We weren't even truly a couple. I was merely a diversion while he sorted out his primary relationship. I decimated my family for a man who blocked my number the instant my husband died. The divorce never occurred because David died before it could be finalized. But his will accomplished everything a divorce would have, and worse. He altered it 3 days before his death from his hospice bed. He bequeathed everything to the children in a trust managed by his parents. The house, the vehicles, his life insurance, the 401k, all of it. I received nothing. His parents filed for full custody of Ethan and Chloe. 2 weeks after the funeral, temporary emergency custody became permanent. They argued I had deserted my children during a crisis, that I was an unfit mother, that David's ultimate wish was for his parents to raise his kids. They had concrete evidence. They possessed David's messages. My phone records displayed 186 calls to Alex's number over 4 months. They had sworn statements from the Disney security guard who found David. They had testimony from the social worker. They had Ethan's 911 call and Chloe's panic attack documented by emergency medical technicians. Most damningly, they had a letter. David had composed it in hospice 2 days before his death. The judge read it aloud in court, to whom it may concern. My wife Jessica abandoned me and our children during what she knew were my final days. She chose infidelity over being present for her dying husband and traumatized children. I do not trust her to prioritize their needs above her own. I do not trust her to be a mother to them. I am requesting the court grant custody to my parents, who have always put my children first. Please do not allow my kids to suffer any further because of her choices. David Harrison. The judge granted his parents full custody. I received supervised visitation for 4 hours per month, overseen by a court-appointed monitor. I haven't utilized those hours. The children do not wish to see me. Ethan celebrated his 11th birthday in September. His grandparents posted pictures on social media, birthday gathering with his friends, cake, gifts. Smiling. Happy without me. Chloe turned 8 in November. The same story. A princess party. All her friends. No mother. I sent birthday cards. Both were returned unopened. I attempted to call. Karen answered once. She stated, "The children have requested that you cease calling. Please respect their wishes." Then she hung up. My own parents sided with David's family. My father called me 3 weeks after the funeral and declared, "What you did was unforgivable. David was a good man, and you destroyed him. We cannot support you in this. Dad, please. Your mother cannot even utter your name without weeping. You killed him, Jessica. Perhaps not with your hands, but you killed him. He deserved better. Those children deserve better." He ended the call. They haven't spoken to me since. I'm not invited to Christmas. Not invited to Thanksgiving. My sister got engaged 2 months ago. I learned from Instagram. I'm not invited to the wedding. When I messaged to congratulate her, she replied, "Please don't contact me. You're not part of this family anymore." Visual, phone screen showing unread messages or blocked contact. I lost my employment 6 weeks after David died. The story had circulated. Someone at work had seen Alex's Instagram post and connected the dots. Human Resources called me in and announced they were reorganizing and my position was being eliminated. I understood the true reason. I was a liability. The woman who betrayed her dying husband. Detrimental to workplace morale. I've applied to 47 jobs in 8 months. 3 interviews, 0 offers. When I search my name online, the first 5 results are news articles. Local woman abandons dying husband for affair during Make-A-Wish trip. Someone created a TikTok video about me that garnered 2.3 million views. The comments are precisely what one would anticipate. I relocated to Indianapolis, 3 hours from Michigan where my children reside, 4 hours from Ohio where I grew up. No one knows me here. I secured a job at a gas station, night shift, $13.50 an hour. I inhabit a 350-square-foot studio apartment that smells of mildew. I cannot afford anything superior. My rent is $850. I earn about $1,900 a month after taxes. After rent, utilities, car insurance, and food, I have perhaps $200 remaining. I am 1 difficult month from homelessness, 1 car repair from having to decide between housing and sustenance. Visual. Gas station interior, woman behind counter, lonely expression. I attempted therapy, managing 3 sessions before I could no longer afford it. The therapist repeatedly tried to help me process my past and understand my decisions. But I don't require understanding. I know precisely what I did and why. I was self-centered. I craved pleasure. I prioritized 45 minutes of fleeting satisfaction over being present for my dying husband. There is no trauma to untangle, only choices and their repercussions. The worst aspect isn't the solitude, though that is severe. It's knowing my children are growing up without me, and they are better off for it. Ethan excels in school, according to his grandmother's social media posts. Honor roll. Soccer team. Science fair winner. Chloe attends dance class. She's made new friends. She no longer experiences nightmares. This is based on a post from 6 months ago. They're healing without me, because I am the source of their wound. Quote, "My children thrive now because I was their deepest wound. I saw them once 3 months ago. A coincidence? I was in Michigan visiting David's gravesite, the sole place I am permitted to go, and I saw them at a McDonald's. They were with their grandparents, Robert and Karen. Ethan was laughing at something on his phone. Chloe was eating chicken nuggets, smiling. I observed them through the window. I couldn't enter. Couldn't risk violating the custody order. So, I just watched my children find happiness without me." Liam looked up at one point, looked directly at the window, directly at me. Our gazes met for maybe 3 seconds, then he looked away, returned to his phone, and didn't inform his grandparents he'd seen me. He simply pretended I wasn't there. That was when I realized. It's not that he despises me. It's that I no longer matter. I'm not his mother. I'm merely the woman who used to be his mother before she made the choice that shattered everything. Visual. Woman watching children through a window, looking sad. I drove back to Indianapolis and didn't leave my apartment for 4 days. David's parents established a trust fund for the children with his life insurance money, $500,000. It will cover college, weddings, whatever they need. I cannot access it. I am not named in the trust. I have no access to my own children's lives, financial or otherwise. I am 36 years old. I have no family, no friends, no career, no money, no future. I work night shifts at a gas station and return to an empty apartment, trying not to dwell on the family I destroyed. But I do think about it. Every second of every day. I think about David in that hospital, dying alone while I was with Alex. I think about Ethan making that 911 call, his voice trembling, pleading for help because his mother wouldn't answer. I think about Chloe experiencing a panic attack in the ambulance, terrified her father was gone and her mother was absent. I think about David's letter. I do not trust her to be a mother to them. He was right not to trust me. I wasn't a mother. Mothers don't abandon their children during the most critical moment of their lives. Mothers don't prioritize another man over their dying husband. Mothers don't check their phone and decide, yes, I'm going to pursue intimacy instead of being present for my family's final journey together. People want me to say I was depressed, that caregiver burnout is real, that watching your spouse decline shatters something within you. And perhaps it does, but that is no justification. Millions observe their spouses die. They don't all forsake them for affairs. They don't all pick the absolute worst possible moment to demolish their lives. Quote, "The freedom I yearned for now feels precisely like drowning. I made a choice. A series of choices. Every message to Alex. Every fabrication to David. Every time I claimed I was going to the gym, but was actually meeting Alex at his apartment. Every time I looked at my dying husband and thought, I cannot wait until this is over so I can be free. Yes, I harbored that thought multiple times. I looked at the man I'd pledged to love through sickness and health, the father of my children, my partner for 12 years, and I thought, I wish he would just die quickly so I can stop pretending. That's who I am. That's who I always was. Not the grieving wife everyone perceived. Just a self-absorbed woman counting down the days until she could shed the burden of a sick husband. And then I got what I wanted. He died. I'm free. And free feels like drowning. I visited his grave last week. It's a 2-hour drive from Indianapolis, but I make the trip once a month. His parents erected a beautiful headstone, black granite with his photo etched into it, smiling from before his illness. David James Harrison, beloved son, brother, and father. Gone too soon. 1986 to 2024. They omitted husband. I am erased from his death, just as I was erased from his life. There are always fresh flowers. His parents visit weekly. The children must visit too, because there are drawings tucked into the flowers. One from last week read, "Miss you, Daddy. Love, Ethan." Another stated, "I got an A in dance. You'd be proud. Love, Chloe." I knelt in the grass and apologized to him. I said it aloud, even though he wasn't there to hear it. Even though sorry holds no meaning now. I told him I'd give anything to reverse time. Anything to be the wife he deserved, the mother our children deserved. But I cannot go back. And if I could, would I make different choices? I want to say yes. I want to believe I am no longer that individual. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm genuinely changed or if I'm simply regretful that I was caught. Sorry I lost everything. Sorry for myself, not for him. That is what keeps me awake at night. The dread that if I could return, I would still read that message from Alex. Still enter the rideshare. Still make the exact same choices. Because in that moment, escape felt more vital than anything else. Perhaps I truly am the monster everyone claims. Visual. Graveyard, headstone, drawings, lone figure kneeling. I saw a family at the gas station yesterday evening. A father, mother, and 2 children approximately Ethan and Chloe's ages. The father was unwell. It was evident. Gaunt, pale, moving slowly. Cancer, likely. The mother assisted him with the pump, helped him walk, watched the children, acting as a devoted partner. I observed them from behind the counter. I watched the mother kiss her husband's cheek, watched her hold his hand, watched her be present for him, even though her exhaustion was visible. Even though this was likely her 100th day as a caregiver, even though she probably wanted to scream, but she didn't forsake him. She didn't get into a car and drive to a hotel to be with someone else. She remained because that is the essence of love. Staying. Choosing your person even when it is difficult. Especially when it is difficult. I failed to do that. I selected comfort over commitment. Pleasure over partnership. Myself over everyone else. And now I am alone. Permanently, irrevocably alone. No do-overs, no second chances, no narrative arc where I evolve into a better person and receive universal forgiveness. This is it. This is the remainder of my existence. Working for minimum wage, residing in a dismal apartment, knowing my children are better off without me, knowing my husband passed away believing I never loved him. Perhaps I didn't. Perhaps I merely loved the idea of him, the life we shared before cancer. Perhaps when circumstances became challenging, when he ceased being the healthy, youthful husband and became the ailing burden, I disengaged, seeking an exit, found Alex and convinced myself he was the solution to my problems, instead of just another mistake. I no longer understand. I don't know who I am, or who I was, or if there is a distinction. All I know is that David merited better. Ethan merited better. Chloe merited better. And they found better. They found a life without me. I share this, not for pity, but as a raw, ugly testament to the consequences of monumental selfishness. When you believe you can compartmentalize your life, that no one will discover your secret, that you are entitled to this one thing for yourself, you don't escape. Even if you aren't exposed, you don't truly get away with it because you will always know. You will live with it, every single day, for the rest of your life. You will know what you chose and who you harmed. David died convinced I didn't love him. My children are growing up believing their mother abandoned them. And they are all correct. Because when it mattered most, when they desperately needed me to appear, I chose a stranger over my family. You don't recover from that. There is no redemption. There is just this. The rest of my life, knowing I possessed everything and squandered it. This is my truth. This is what's left. I'm sharing it so maybe, just maybe, someone else won't make the same mistakes. If you've been through something remotely similar, or if this story resonated with you, I want to hear your thoughts. What would you have done? What should I have done? Let me know in the comments below and please, take care of each other.